Earlier this week, Facebook announced it is banning certain types of so-called deepfakes. Those are videos altered to appear as though people are doing or saying something they didn't do or actually say. Facebook Vice President Monica Bickert wrote in a blog post Tuesday, the ban won't apply to parody or satire or video that has been edited solely to omit or change the order of words. She testified before the House Consumer Protection and Commerce Subcommittee today on digital deception and manipulation.
We are very much a platform for free expression. It's one of the reasons that we work with third-party fact-checking organizations, because what we do if they've ranked something false is we share more information on the service. So we put a label over it, this is false information, but then we show people, here's what fact-checkers are saying about this story.
Assistant Professor of Communication at Syracuse University, Jennifer Greigel, watched that hearing and joins me now. Jennifer, thanks very much for being here. So what did lawmakers actually want to get out of today's hearing? And does it seem like they were able to get that information that they were looking for?
So as you were saying, there's a lot of concern around deep fakes, or these new highly manipulated videos. But I don't think that we should be focusing on things that are so focused. We need to deal broadly with propaganda, and people seem to not want to call it what it is. So we're calling it deep fakes, cheap fakes, manipulation, disinformation, fake news. But what this is information that's intended to influence people, and we need Facebook and others to focus on. Can government and elected officials post stuff that's deceptive in order to steer public opinion? That's what we need to get to, and Congress needs to focus on that too.
So it doesn't sound like you think they got to the heart of the matter.
No, absolutely not. And they were kicking around this issue with cheap fakes and altered information, but I think ultimately who won here today was Facebook, because they would much rather have us talking about a technical issue with a video instead of baseline propaganda. As people were noting, manipulated images are very easy to create, and they can have big impact too. So during today's hearing, Democratic Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky of Illinois said that, quote, consumers can be harmed as easily online as in the physical world, and in some cases the online dangers are greater. But is the cost of misinformation actually clear, you think? Well, they were talking about fraud as well. The Piggly Wiggly marketing strategy was referenced at one point. We really need Congress and lawmakers to focus on big issues, especially in light of what's happening around Iran. It's, amazing to think that misinformation on social media may have impacted elections. It's very serious now if it could also impact going to war. We need Facebook and these platforms, and Twitter included, given how the President of the United States uses the platform and shares memes that are often misleading or deceptive. We need these platforms to step up before there's a real crisis on these.
I know you think that really the heart of the matter wasn't addressed, but Facebook says that it's prohibiting users from posting deepfakes. It won't prohibit, however, all doctored videos. So what does this deepfake decision actually mean? Deepfake decision?
Yeah, it's a highly specific manipulated type of video. Like, think of it like face swapping on like Snapchat or something like that, where the user can't really tell that it's been doctored. But they keep referencing the famous Pelosi video. Now, that was a very low-tech, kind of changing the frame rate on a video. It made her look, kind of compromised. Or the representative from Arizona shared a doctored image of President Obama and the Iranian president the other day, too, without context. So, again, Facebook wants us to focus on this technical new type of issue, but the threat and risk is still there. It's been there, and it involves low-tech issues. So we need to baseline address propaganda. What is it? Who can share it? And how are we going to manage this on platforms like Facebook and Twitter?
So in a leaked memo obtained by the New York Times, Facebook executive Andrew Bosworth told employees that Facebook must not tilt the scales against President Trump in the upcoming election. Bosworth cites The Lord of the Rings, saying, quote, as tempting as it is to use the tools available to us to change the outcome, I am confident we must never do that, or we will become that which we fear. What was your reaction to that, and how significant do you think that kind of candor is from a Facebook executive?
Yes, it's amazing. It seems like Facebook executives are all over Twitter, Facebook, making these statements. Some people have alluded to the fact that maybe this was intended to be leaked because it was kind of specific, at points. But any professional knows now that internal comm memos are often leaked. So, I think that Facebook is in the PR game right now. They're trying to steer, how people feel about the company in more positive ways. And I think, again, they're trying to come across as not being too liberal, and he had identified as being a liberal. And also, Zuckerberg has made several trips to the White House. I think he's also pandering to, the administration right now. And so I think the company's trying to position themselves as being kind of, more middle of the road. So I think that's why we're starting to see more comments like that coming out. But again, that's propaganda, but it's corporate propaganda that's coming out.
So earlier today, Teen Vogue posted a story that caused a great deal of confusion, and you tweeted about this as well. Explain to us what happened.
Yeah, so again, it just happened to be on the day that Facebook was testifying, a very kind of pro-Facebook piece was published by Teen Vogue without a byline, and a lot of people started immediately flagging it as what's called sponsored content, essentially an ad. And talk about, paid corporate issues, to have a story publication like Teen Vogue being compromised. It ended up showing that, that there was a paid relationship around the conference. And then this trickled out. It didn't have the integrity that we would expect from such an established publisher. So we have to be cautious of the information that we're taking in, always kind of what we say, follow the money. It's really important for information to be labeled correctly. If somebody pays for something to be placed, it needs to be labeled. If the president is sharing a tweet and it's been doctored, people need to know. In a world where we're getting information from a multitude of sources via social media, we really have to start to question who's sharing the info and to go to more and more trusted sources. So today, Teen Vogue let us down, and hopefully they'll apologize and we can get some type of audit on record to see what happened there.
In the short term, do you think, Jennifer, the solution or steps people can take are really just things they themselves have to do as consumers of information, those things that you talk about, consider the source, for instance?
Yeah, and again, we've talked a lot about media literacy over the past couple of years. We need to start also just talking about the basics of influence and propaganda and call it what it is. We've been labeling it misinfo, fake news, but we need to talk about being more aware of when people are trying to influence us through covert or more overt ways too. The President of the United States is being very forthcoming in his tweets these days. So just know that that has an impact on you, and go and get a multitude of sources to kind of inform your worldview.
Jennifer Gargo. Jennifer, thank you very much.
Thanks.